Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's try to find product of n natural numbers. So given input value is 5, output is 120. So we are supposed to find 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So which is the product of n natural numbers. So starting from 1 into 2, the answer is 2. 2 into 3, 6. 6 4 is 24. So 24 5 is 120. So this is the product of n natural numbers. The same question can also be treated as for finding factorial of a number. So let us try to take that factorial of a number. Let's consider the same input. So input to 5, the output would also be same. Let's try to see the explanation for the same of factorial. So considering it 5. So 5 factorial basically would be, you can say 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So which is again the value 120. So nothing but in the first case, you went from 1 to 5. Here you are coming from 5 to 1. So that's the difference. So now let's try to break down this into multiple steps. Step number 1, we need to read the input from the user. So input has some number. So step number 2, we need a loop here to iterate. So loop starts from 1, it goes until the value number. So 1 to 5 basically. And also we need a variable called product. So where it tries to multiply from 1 to 5 and stores in the variable product. And at last, of course, we need the output variable, which is to print the output product same. So let's try to see these things. So I'm just having a variable called product as well as a variable called number. So first let's take number. So number, considering the given value 5. Similar to number, we also have something called product. So just assuming the product. So let's try to observe if you take 0, what exactly happens. So 0 multiplied by anything would result in a 0. So we are not supposed to consider the value 0. So we'll start from the value 1. So 1 multiplied by anything would result that respect to value. So 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So we would get the value as the output. So we are starting from the value 1. So 1 times 1, loop starts. 1 times 1, the output would be 1. So next 1 times 2, when I value is 2. 1 into 2, the output would be 2. So next 2 times 3. So 2 into 3, the output would be 6. Similarly, 6 times 4, when I value is 4. So 6 into 4, the output would be 24. And at last, when your I value is 5, so 25 into 5, the output would be 120. So at last, we got the output to 120. So let's try to put this into our Visual Studio Code. So considering some input from the user, int of input. So next, we need a variable called product. So initialize to 1. So we need a loop starting from 1 until the value of number. Here we also need to include the value number. So giving number plus 1. So simple product would be multiplied by each and every I value. And let's print our product. Let's try to run this code. Giving the value 5, the output is 120. So let's run this with some other input. 6, the output is 720. Here if you observe, there is no need to again multiply the product with 1 because product default value is already 1. So directly we can start with the value 2 so that we can skip one loop iteration. That's all. So let's try to observe what is the time complexity of this program. So time complexity of this program would be order of n. So why? Because this loop is running for n times. The value is 100, it runs for 100 times. So instead you go for loop, you can also solve this logic with while loop. So let me just take one more product variable called product2 equals to 1. So instead you start from 1 to n. Let's come in a different way. So if you want to go from 1 to n, again I need to take variable I to 1. So you need to write while I less than or equals to your number. So followed by product multiplied with the value I. And after this, you need to write some logic where you try to fail this respect to while loop condition. So now you increment the value of I by 1. And at last, of course, you print the value of product 2. So print product 2. So let's try to run this. So giving the value 5. So output is 120, 120 again. So let's take the value 6. The output is 720. So instead you go for while loop starting from variable I equals to 1 until the number and keep on incrementing. We can also write the same in the reverse fashion. Let me take one more thing called product 3, initializing to 1. So we'll start here in the reverse way. So while n greater than 0, meaning you start from 1, sorry, meaning you start from 5, you go until the value 0, exclusive of 0. So now product 3 would be multiplied by with the number. At each and every step here, what we are trying to do, we are trying to decrement the value of number. So meaning number is starting from 5, next 4, 3, 2, 1. So once the number reaches 0, we'll be stopping it. So let's print our product 3. Let's run this. So giving the value 5. So getting output 120, 120, 120, of course. So giving the value to 6, getting the output to 720. So for these two while loops, the time complexity would be the same time complexity, which is order of n. So basically you're running from 1 to 5 or 5 to 0. So still it would be the same. So that's all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.